What happens when the enforcer of SmackDown decides he's had enough of Paul Heyman's games? Nick Aldis just dropped a bombshell that could change everything we thought we knew about the Wiseman heading into Wargames. The SmackDown General Manager isn't holding back anymore, and what he's revealed might be the most shocking development in this entire saga. Stay tuned, because this is about to get intense. What's up, WWE Sphere family? Welcome back to the channel where we break down the biggest stories, the wildest moments, and the most jaw-dropping developments in the world of professional wrestling. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell because you do not want to miss a single second of what's happening in WWE right now. Today, we're diving deep into Nick Aldis's explosive revelation about Paul Heyman. The SmackDown GM has been watching, waiting, and collecting receipts, and now he's ready to expose what the Wiseman has been hiding. This isn't just another backstage drama, folks. This is about trust, manipulation, and the power plays that could determine the outcome of one of the most anticipated matches of the year, Wargames. Let's break this down piece by piece, because this story has layers you won't believe. To understand why Nick Aldis's revelation is so significant, we need to rewind and look at the bigger picture. Paul Heyman has been a master strategist in WWE for decades. Whether he was managing Brock Lesnar, guiding CM Punk, or serving as the special counsel to Roman Reigns, the Wiseman has always been 10 steps ahead of everyone else. But here's where things get interesting. As SmackDown General Manager, Nick Aldis has a unique vantage point. He sees everything that happens behind the curtain. He's responsible for maintaining order on the blue brand, and that means dealing with Heyman's schemes week after week. Now, Heyman's relationship with Roman Reigns has been the cornerstone of WWE storytelling for years. The tribal chief and his Wiseman created an empire together. They dominated the WWE landscape, held championships, and built the most powerful faction we've seen in modern wrestling. But cracks started showing. Trust began to erode. And when the bloodline started fracturing, everyone wondered, where does Paul Heyman's loyalty truly lie? That's where Nick Aldis comes in. The general manager has been observing patterns, noticing inconsistencies, and according to his recent statements, he's discovered something that Heyman desperately wanted to keep hidden. Something that could expose the Wiseman's true intentions as Wargames approaches. Aldis isn't just throwing around accusations for ratings or attention. This is a calculated move from someone who's been in the wrestling business long enough to recognize when someone's playing both sides. And if what Aldis is suggesting is true, then Paul Heyman might be the most dangerous player in this entire Wargames equation. So what exactly did Nick Aldis reveal? According to the SmackDown General Manager, Paul Heyman has been conducting secret communications and meetings that nobody was supposed to know about. We're talking about conversations that happened in shadows, away from cameras, away from Roman Reigns, and away from the prying eyes of WWE officials. Aldis claims to have evidence, documentation that suggests Heyman hasn't been entirely honest about his allegiances. Now, before we go further, let's think about what this means. Paul Heyman's entire persona is built on being the ultimate counsel, the trusted advisor who would do anything for his client. But what if the Wiseman has been serving his own interests all along? The timing of this revelation is absolutely critical. Wargames is one of the most intense match concepts in professional wrestling. 2 rings, 2 teams, surrounded by steel. It's warfare in its purest form. Every competitor needs to trust their teammates completely because one wrong move, one moment of hesitation, and everything falls apart. According to Aldis, Heyman may have been positioning himself as an insurance policy. Think about it. The Wiseman has connections throughout the entire wrestling industry. He's mentored superstars, managed legends, and built relationships that span decades. What if he's been keeping options open? What if he's been preparing for multiple scenarios depending on how the power dynamics shift after Wargames? The general manager specifically pointed to meetings that Heyman had with individuals who are supposed to be on opposite sides of this conflict. Now, Aldis was careful not to name names outright during his initial statement, which honestly makes this even more intriguing. Is he protecting sources? Is he building to a bigger reveal? Or is he strategically applying pressure to force Heyman into making a mistake? Let's talk about what this means for Wargames and the landscape of WWE moving forward. If Paul Heyman has indeed been playing multiple angles, then every team involved in this match needs to be concerned. First, consider Roman Reigns. The tribal chief has built his entire empire with Heyman by his side. If the Wiseman's loyalty is questionable, then Roman's entire strategy could be compromised. Does the head of the table know what Heyman's been doing? Is he complicit in these secret dealings, or is he about to be blindsided by his most trusted advisor? Then there's the other side of the bloodline conflict. Solo Sikoa has been establishing himself as a force to be reckoned with, and he's brought in reinforcements of his own. If Heyman has been communicating with members of Solo's faction, that changes everything. Is the Wiseman considering jumping ship? Has he been feeding information to both sides to ensure he ends up on the winning team regardless of the outcome? Nick Aldis's position as general manager makes this revelation even more powerful. He's not a competitor in this feud. He's not trying to manipulate the situation for personal gain. His job is to maintain order and ensure fairness on SmackDown. When someone in that position steps forward with allegations about secret dealings, people listen. But here's another layer to consider. What if this is exactly what Paul Heyman wanted? The Wiseman is a master of psychological warfare. Could this entire situation be part of a larger plan to create confusion and mistrust among his opponents? Heyman has always said that perception is reality in professional wrestling. If he can make people question everything they think they know, he gains an advantage. The psychological impact on the Wargames participants cannot be understated. Wrestling is as much a mental game as it is physical. If competitors are second-guessing their strategies, wondering who they can trust, and trying to account for Heyman's potential betrayal, they're not focused on winning. And that's when mistakes happen. The wrestling community has absolutely exploded with reactions to Aldis's revelation. Fans have taken to social media to share their theories, and let me tell you, some of these theories are wild. Many fans are pointing to specific moments from recent weeks that now seem suspicious in hindsight. There were camera angles where Heyman appeared to be having hushed conversations with unexpected individuals. There were segments where his reactions seemed calculated rather than genuine. Wrestling fans are detectives, and they're combing through footage looking for clues. Some fans believe this is the beginning of a double-turn situation where allegiances will completely flip. Others think we're building toward Heyman managing an entirely new client, someone who will be revealed during or immediately after Wargames. The speculation is running rampant, and honestly, that's exactly what makes this storytelling so compelling. Veteran wrestling analysts have also weighed in. Many have pointed out that Paul Heyman's greatest strength has always been adaptability. He survived and thrived through multiple eras of professional wrestling because he reads the landscape and positions himself accordingly. If he's indeed been conducting secret meetings, it wouldn't be out of character. It would be vintage Heyman, ensuring his own relevance regardless of which faction emerges victorious. What's particularly interesting is how this revelation affects the locker room dynamic. Superstars who weren't directly involved in the Bloodline saga are now paying attention because if Heyman is willing to manipulate the biggest storyline in WWE, what's stopping him from influencing other situations? Trust is currency in professional wrestling, and Heyman's account might be overdrawn. So where do we go from here? Wargames is on the horizon, and this revelation has added another layer of unpredictability to an already volatile situation. Nick Aldis has promised that more information will come to light. He's made it clear that as SmackDown General Manager, he has a responsibility to ensure transparency, especially when it affects a match of this magnitude. We could see documents revealed, video evidence presented, or witnesses coming forward to corroborate what Aldis is claiming. Paul Heyman, for his part, hasn't issued a full response yet. And that silence is deafening. The Wiseman always has something to say. He's one of the greatest talkers in wrestling history. So why hasn't he immediately come out to defend himself or deny these allegations? Is he calculating his next move? Is he waiting for the perfect moment to flip the script? Or does his silence confirm what Aldis is suggesting? Roman Reigns is another wild card in this equation. If the tribal chief confronts Heyman about these secret meetings, we could witness one of the most intense verbal confrontations in recent WWE history. Roman doesn't tolerate disloyalty, and he's made examples of people who've crossed the bloodline before. The Wargames match itself now carries additional stakes. It's not just about which faction will dominate WWE moving forward. It's about exposing truth, about loyalty being tested under the most extreme circumstances, and about Paul Heyman's future in this company. Will the Wiseman walk out of Wargames still aligned with Roman Reigns? Will he reveal a new allegiance? Or will Nick Aldis's revelation lead to consequences that nobody saw coming? WWE Sphere family, this is why we love professional wrestling. The storylines, the intrigue, the moments that make you jump out of your seat because you can't believe what just happened. Nick Aldis exposing Paul Heyman's secrets ahead of Wargames has given us one of the most compelling narratives of the year. What do you think? Is Paul Heyman about to be exposed as the ultimate manipulator? Is Nick Aldis playing his own game here? And what's going to happen when these secrets come to light at Wargames? Drop your predictions in the comments below. I want to hear every theory, every hot take, every wild idea you've got. If you enjoyed this breakdown, smash that like button, subscribe to WWE Sphere for more exclusive wrestling content, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Share this video with your wrestling friends because they need to know what's coming. I'm your host, and this has been WWE Sphere. Until next time, keep watching, keep speculating, and remember, in professional wrestling, nothing is ever what it seems. Peace.